The grand ballroom of Ronaldo's mansion sparkled under the shimmering light of crystal chandeliers and was reflected by gilded mirrors, accompanied by the gentle fragrance of fresh orchids. Serena Hayes stood solemnly beside the altar in a meticulously arranged flowing white dress, yet inside her heart was empty, as if everything were merely a luxurious play devoid of genuine emotion. Serena gently followed with her gaze the man sitting beside her, Cristiano Ronaldo, the mysterious, powerful billionaire, who was seated in a sleek black wheelchair. His black hair was neatly combed, his sharp features exuding an aura of coldness and authority. Despite his physical limitations, Cristiano radiated an undeniable strength, with deep blue eyes as clear as the profound sky, harboring countless mysteries beyond words. Amid the grandeur of the ceremony, even though the wedding was perfectly staged with every exquisite detail, Serena felt lonely and lost. Even though her family had arranged a marriage for her like a lifebuoy after the wounds of the past, she still found no support for her heart. The vows and promises in the wedding were like faint echoes, concealing the deep sorrow within. Serena's gaze never left Cristiano, the man who had appeared only 6 months after she endured the pain of her former lover's betrayal. In that moment, amidst the melodious music and polite applause, she realized that the extravagance of the wedding could not erase the coldness and emptiness within her. Everything around exuded a flawless beauty, yet inside Serena remained a solitary soul, carrying painful memories and fragile hopes. Though Cristiano always maintained a cold and imposing exterior, his eyes held undisclosed secrets, leaving Serena even more puzzled and troubled. She stood there in an opulent space, yet feeling the vastness of loneliness, as if the wedding were merely a performance, where true emotions were buried under a veneer of power and extravagance. As the wedding gradually came to an end, Serena Hayes remained silently standing in the grand ballroom, with a heart burdened by sorrow and indelible memories, wondering whether this was the beginning of a new chapter or merely the prelude to unending pain. Serena Hayes steps into the new day with a heavy heart, as if every breath bears the painful memories of the past. After being betrayed by her ex-fiancé, she was forced to agree to an arranged marriage with Cristiano Ronaldo, a successful, mysterious businessman with a cold exterior and seemingly paralyzed. From the very first hours beside Cristiano, Serena sensed an invisible distance, as if she were merely a stranger in a powerful family that did not welcome her. In the dim morning light, she slowly moved through the vast corridors of Ronaldo's mansion, her heart burdened with loneliness and anxiety about a future that would never belong to her. Each of Serena's footsteps softly echoes on the gleaming wooden floor, while in her mind she kept wondering if she was nothing more than an unappreciated puzzle piece in Cristiano's life. Cristiano, the man she was bound to only because of family pressures and the necessity of a transactional relationship, always appeared cold, never showing any warm emotion. He often sank into thought, his cold blue eyes fixed on a distance that Serena could never reach. Whenever she tried to seek a glimmer of hope, she was met only with an invisible gap between them, a gap of power, of secrets that Cristiano deliberately conceals. In the quiet afternoons, when the sunlight gradually faded through the large window frame of the living room, Serena felt like a lost ghost among those belonging to the powerful family. Vanessa Ronaldo, Cristiano's sister, further exacerbated the situation. Vanessa could never hide her resentment towards Serena. She always regarded her as a gold digger, someone involved with Cristiano solely for personal gain. Vanessa's taunting remarks and scornful glances from her and other close associates of Cristiano were like sharp needles cutting through Serena's soul. She felt increasingly isolated, as if she did not belong here, with no place among the flow of power and wealth that Cristiano and his family had built. Every night, after the lavish parties and formal gatherings, when everyone gradually fell asleep, Serena lay awake in her private room, her mind flooded with empty and painful thoughts. She recalled the promises of the past, the faint hopes of a true love. But now, in this arranged marriage, everything seemed like fragments of a dream that had passed. She wondered whether she would ever live with a genuine love, or would always exist as a supporting character in the powerful story of the Ronaldo family. One evening, as the rain began to fall lightly outside the window, Serena decided to set aside her loneliness and wandered through the corridors of the mansion. She passed through every room, every secluded corner, hoping to find some comfort or perhaps a clue to explain the distance and the mysteries surrounding Cristiano. While silently strolling, her heart gradually filled with unnamed emotions, skepticism, sorrow, and a longing to be accepted. She sensed that beneath the splendid exterior of the mansion lay countless things she had never known. In a chance moment, when entering a seldom noticed corridor, Serena discovered a small door hidden behind antique paintings. Curiosity suddenly flared within her. She lightly touched the door and realized it opened into a secret room. Inside, the faint light reflected off shelves of documents, neatly arranged files, and a small cabinet filled with materials related to Cristiano. Each paper, every number, and every scribbled note seemed to be telling a story that Serena had never known. She stood silent, her heart racing and her mind swirling with questions. Was Cristiano truly injured, or was everything just an elaborate scam? What would these documents reveal about the past and present of the cold man she had to live with every day? In that secret room, Serena felt a harsh connection with dark secrets. Every sheet of paper, every trace of numbers or timestamps was like a testimony opening up pieces of a picture that Cristiano tried to hide. Although they were merely simple documents to Serena, they were like keys unlocking the truth behind Cristiano's cold facade. Man she only knew through his soulless looks and overly calculated gestures. She took a sheet of paper, her eyes slowly scanning the numbers and symbols, her heart further filled with unease, with the loneliness she had to bear in a life marked by prearrangement. The next day, at a bustling breakfast table in the Ronaldo family's dining room, Serena tried to maintain her composure, but the sadness and fatigue were evident in her eyes. Cristiano sat beside her, his face still rigid, no emotion breaking through the shell of coldness. Vanessa sat opposite, her gaze mocking, uttering soft yet cutting words that made the atmosphere in the room even tenser. Although the room was filled with laughter and the chatter of a powerful family, Serena felt like a silent shadow, forgotten amidst the flow of wealth and power. She only wished to escape the scornful looks and biting remarks of Vanessa, yet she did not know how to free herself from the fate that had been arranged for her. After breakfast, Serena quietly left the dining room, her heart heavy with tangled thoughts. She recalled the previous night when she quietly wandered around the mansion and accidentally discovered the secret room. She still remembered vividly the mix of excitement and fear when she saw the papers, the documents containing clues about Cristiano's past and present. What she read not only shocked her, but also opened a new door of doubt, making her wonder even more. Is everything as Cristiano has described? Or are they just thick veils of arrangement and conspiracy? Overwhelmed by the unresolved secrets, Serena felt more and more like a lost woman, abandoned amidst the currents of unyielding power. She wondered if she would ever live with a true love, or would always be confined in a loveless marriage. Every time she tried to approach Cristiano, she only received cold indifference and distance, as if he only knew how to use silence to guard his secrets. And in those moments, Serena's loneliness deepened, as if she were always living in the shadows of deceit and betrayal. In that secret room, the documents Serena found seemed to be the voice of the past, of a person she had never fully understood. She silently gathered each piece of paper, each number, trying to piece together the picture of a life full of contradictions and mysteries. However, the more she read, the more restless she became, as if those secrets were the key to a door leading into a world she had never dared to dream of. It was a world of absolute control, where decisions were determined by power and ruthlessness, where emotions were not allowed to surface. Amid the fragments of the past and present, Serena Hayes realized that although this arranged marriage might be the lifebuoy that could save her from the pain of the past, it was also a long series of days filled with loneliness, with memories and doubts that never faded. She was forced to live in a cold environment where every relationship was defined by interest and control. Cristiano Ronaldo, with his cold and mysterious exterior, made her realize that genuine emotion had been replaced by empty promises and strategic deals. Vanessa Ronaldo, who always regarded her as a gold digger and was ever ready to taunt, only further wounded and isolated Serena's soul. Through each moment in the lavish yet darkly secretive house, Serena Hayes gradually recognized that beneath the glamorous exterior of an arranged wedding lay unsolvable loneliness, silent tears unknown to anyone. She wondered if she would ever find comfort, genuine love, or if she would always exist as a lonely spirit amidst the flow of power and deceit. And in her heart, among the pieces of paper and documents she found, The questions about Cristiano's true nature and her own fate grew increasingly perplexing, conflicted, and painfully strange. Serena Hayes had not yet recovered from the mixed emotions following the arranged wedding, and her mind grew increasingly confused as each passing day revealed abnormal signs from Cristiano Ronaldo. In the cold and gloomy atmosphere of Ronaldo's mansion, she gradually noticed contradictions in the actions of her husband. The man she had previously only known through the image of a successful, mysterious businessman who was supposedly paralyzed. But now, small details in Cristiano's actions were slowly unveiling another truth, leaving Serena's heart stirred and uneasy. One afternoon, as the weak sunlight seeped through the window of the spacious living room, Serena happened to witness a scene that surprised her to the point that her heart seemed about to burst. While everyone in the family was busy with their daily tasks, she suddenly saw Cristiano, the man who was thought to only sit still in his wheelchair, stand up. It was just a fleeting moment when his gaze went unnoticed by anyone. She observed carefully. Cristiano stood up with a confident posture, his hand tightly gripping the edge of a sturdy wooden table, then maintained his balance in an astonishing manner. That action, though lasting only a few brief seconds, left Serena in shock, because theoretically, a paralyzed person could not stand up or keep balance like that on their own. Nervous and anxious, Serena felt each beat of her heart echoing in the silence of the room. At that moment, Cristiano's gaze not only showed physical strength but also exuded authority and control, completely contrary to the image of a weak, helpless person. She could hardly believe her eyes. Could it be that Cristiano was hiding something, or was it just a coincidental moment, a drift away from reality? But in her heart, doubt had already begun to take hold intensely. Since that day, whenever possible, Serena deliberately observed Cristiano's actions discreetly. In the moments when she wandered silently through the vast corridors of the mansion, she always cast a keen eye on every gesture, every movement of her cold husband. There were times when no one was watching, that she saw him turn around for a short moment before slowly readjusting his position on the wheelchair. Sometimes, when passing by the study, she noticed his hand clenching the edge of the table as if he were seeking some sort of support, but then quickly returning to its familiar position. That abnormality was like scattered fragments, but enough to make her uneasy, raising many questions about Cristiano's past and present. In every moment of observation, Serena clearly felt the contrast between Cristiano's cold exterior and the actions that made her believe that the man was not entirely as people thought. His gaze at that moment, deep, sharp, and full of decisiveness, made her feel as if he was not only concealing emotional wounds, but also harboring a latent strength that the world did not know. Those moments seemed to last forever, like a gigantic question mark hanging in the quiet atmosphere of the mansion. Serena couldn't help but wonder, is Cristiano truly paralyzed? Or is he merely using the guise of helplessness to hide his own secrets? Those thoughts piled up in her mind, turning each silent step through the corridors of the luxurious house into a journey to seek the truth. In every step, every ray of light glimmering through the window seemed to ignite a memory, an abnormal sign that she had to decipher. It was not just about seeing Cristiano stand up, but the entire way he controlled his body, the way he executed even the smallest gestures. All gave her the impression that the helplessness he displayed was merely a superficial facade. In the dead of night, when the house was immersed in the quiet of sleep, Serena lay awake on her bed, her mind filled with endless thoughts. She wondered whether anyone else in the family or the servants had noticed those strange signs. In such moments, her soul was weighed down by loneliness and anxiety, but at the same time it surged with a desire to be truly understood, to uncover the truth behind Cristiano's sweet words and cold exterior. She decided that, even if it could lead to unforeseen consequences, she could not let that doubt continue to torment her inside. Through the long days of observation, Serena gradually pieced together fragments of an unrevealed picture. She memorized every moment, every small action of Cristiano, the way he held his teacup at luxurious parties, the way he shifted his position when he thought no one was watching, and even the glimmer in his eyes when he believed no one was observing. Every detail, however trivial, became evidence of a truth that she gradually recognized, that Cristiano Ronaldo was not completely paralyzed, and perhaps he was silently hiding a latent strength that defied physical limits. On a foggy morning, when the gentle light seeped through the window frame, Serena once again witnessed the unbelievable. While everyone was still busy with their morning tasks, she saw Cristiano stand up from his wheelchair, gently placing his hand on the nearby table to fetch a piece of paper. That action, though lasting only a moment, made her heart shatter. It was not an ordinary gesture of someone truly paralyzed, but rather an unexpected sign of the strength he silently concealed. His gaze at that moment, full of decisiveness and control, seemed to affirm something. That power did not lie in a feeble physical state, but in the ability to overcome all limits. Those thoughts only deepened Serena's unease. She decided that to understand the real person behind Cristiano, she had to continue observing, studying every gesture, every movement, and not let any contradiction pass by in vain. Her doubt gradually became profound, as if it had seeped into every cell of her soul, making it impossible for her to take her eyes off her cold husband with whom she was forced to live. Every night as sleep came, the image of Cristiano standing up, his hand clenching the edge of the table, or the way he confidently adjusted his posture, kept repeating in her mind like indelible memories. Amid the silent passage of time, Serena Hayes promised herself that no matter how harsh the truth might be, she would never remain silent. She was determined to uncover the truth about Cristiano, a man not entirely as everyone believed. For somewhere, behind his cold gaze and calculated gestures, lay secrets that could only be revealed through those small but significant actions. Those very actions had become the substance for her, with her sensitive heart and artistic soul, to weave profound thoughts about human nature, about power and weakness. In the solitude of long nights and the anxieties of rainy days, Serena Hayes continuously questioned herself. She wondered if she would ever live in a genuine relationship, or if she would merely remain a witness to a play meticulously staged by power and secrets. Cristiano Ronaldo, with his cold appearance and unexpected actions, had become a symbol of perplexing contradictions. A man who outwardly exhibited helplessness but harbored an unimaginable strength within. And it was precisely that, amid the silent passing moments, that made Serena even more determined to unveil the mystery, to uncover the truth, whether it would change everything or not. Day by day, hour by hour, the fragments gradually assembled in Serena's mind, creating a complex picture of Cristiano, a picture she vowed never to ignore, even if the truth threatened everything she believed in. In those very moments, her heart surged with conflicting emotions, from astonishment, anxiety, to a longing to be understood, to find the truth behind the cold gaze and seemingly lifeless gestures. And so, in the stillness of Ronaldo's mansion, the mystery surrounding Cristiano was not only something that needed to be explored, but also a testament to the power of perseverance and curiosity, a force that made Serena Hayes, despite her loneliness and pain, continuously fight to uncover the truth behind the image that the whole world once knew. After long days weighed down by loneliness and the pressures of an arranged marriage, Serena Hayes unexpectedly realized an undeniable fact. Her body was signaling that a small life was growing inside her. On a cool morning, when the gentle sunlight filtered through the bedroom window frame, Serena woke up and took a pregnancy test. The result clearly showed that she was pregnant. This news hit like a shock, awakening in her a swirl of mixed emotions, amid fragile joy, fear, and anxiety about the future. Before she could fully process her thoughts, Serena decided to share the news with Cristiano Ronaldo, her arranged husband, the man renowned for his cold and mysterious exterior, whom she had only come to know after being betrayed by her ex-fiancé. She steeled herself, gathering courage, and stepped into the living room where Cristiano was usually absorbed in his work. The atmosphere in the room was already heavy with silence and Cristiano's cold, unyielding gaze. Now, Serena's pregnancy news further intensified the tension in the space. Serena gently said, "Cristiano, I am pregnant." Those words echoed through the vast room like a reverberating sound. But for a brief moment, everything seemed to come to a standstill. Cristiano slowly lifted his head, his cold blue eyes fixated intently on Serena. Without any excuse or comforting smile, he simply said in a short, cold tone, "This makes everything more complicated." That statement resonated like a declaration that the pregnancy news was not a blessing, but an added burden to an already unstable life. In that moment, Serena felt as if the entire world had collapsed. She sensed each beat of her heart pounding strongly, as if each beat carried pain and betrayal. Cristiano's coldness came not only from his words but also from his eyes, from the way he silently confronted the news that would change both of their fates. She could not understand how the man she had been forced to be bound to could react in such a manner, as if the child in her womb was merely another annoyance in a relationship already devoid of affection. Immediately after Cristiano's words, Vanessa Ronaldo, his sister, who had always treated Serena with disdain and contempt, did not hesitate to intervene. Vanessa's sharp voice rang out, unable to hide her sarcasm. "Serena, are you planning to use this child to tie Cristiano down? You are nothing but a gold digger, with no value other than exploiting him." Vanessa's words cut through Serena's heart like sharp knives, deepening her sense of hurt. In that moment, she felt pushed into a dead end of loneliness and helplessness, where every hope was gradually extinguished by merciless accusations. Cristiano remained silent. That silence, though unspoken, resounded more powerfully than any words. An affirmation that for him, Serena's pregnancy news only made everything more tangled and uncontrollable. The feeling of betrayal spread throughout Serena's soul. She had once hoped that even if this marriage was arranged, there might be some warmth, some compassion inside, but now, everything had become nothing but coldness and distance. Serena stood there, her eyes blurring with tears, unsure of what more to say to soothe the pain in her heart. She wondered if she truly desired to have a child under these circumstances, when her husband, the man she had come to know only because of her family's arrangements, showed no sign of any emotion other than indifference. In her mind, memories of the past, of the wounds from betrayal, surged back, deepening her loneliness and disappointment even further. After the incident, the atmosphere in the luxurious home of the Ronaldo family grew heavier than ever. At the breakfast table the next morning, as the family gathered together, the air was filled with cold stares and taunting remarks. Cristiano continued to sit beside her, his face still rigid, unchanged, while Vanessa did not miss the opportunity to reiterate her criticism. Vanessa's words, like mocking echoes, reverberated through every corner of the room, making Serena feel like a lost soul amidst the currents of power and pretense. During the tense, silent breakfast, Serena seemed to have no room left for dreams or the yearning for true love. The pregnancy news, which before might have been a hopeful beginning, now was just a burden, a mark of loss and disappointment. Every time she recalled Cristiano's words, "This makes everything more complicated," another deep wound was inflicted upon her soul, as if those words had severed every remaining strand of hope within her. Serena wondered if she would ever be able to find a way out of this chaotic life, where love was no longer a source of happiness but just another detail in a string of prearranged pressures and interests. She recalled those long nights when she quietly sat by the window, looking out at the cold, starry sky, wondering if one day she would find true warmth, or if she would always be trapped in a relationship where emotions were distant and untouchable. Amid these reflections, Serena realized that the growing child in her womb was not only a result of the arranged marriage, but also a symbol of difficult choices, of a future she did not dare to dream of. It carried both hope and fear, hope for change, for a new beginning, but also the fear that, no matter what happened, she would forever bear the consequences of decisions not made by herself. In that moment of profound pain, Serena Hayes felt abandoned amid the flow of life, crushed by the criticisms and coldness of her husband, as well as the unmerciful taunts from Vanessa. She silently bowed her head, tears quietly falling, and a harsh question rose in her mind. Will she ever live in true love? Or will she always be a victim of the pressures and schemes of a powerful family? Finally, as the atmosphere momentarily returned to the silence of breakfast and the judging stares, Serena tried to gather the remaining faith within her fragile heart. Though she knew that the road ahead would be full of challenges and uncertainties, she promised herself that she would not let pain and betrayal take over everything. No matter how much Cristiano's cold tone and Vanessa's taunts hurt her, deep inside she still nurtured hope for a brighter tomorrow, where true love could warm the hearts that had been wounded. In the tense silence that followed the incident, Serena Hayes stood there in the cold room of Ronaldo's mansion with a heart heavy with sorrow and disappointment. She knew that no matter how complicated and painful everything became, the path ahead was still one of searching and self-discovery. And even though Cristiano's words, his cold stares, and Vanessa's mockery darkened the present, Serena was determined to find a way out, to rediscover herself amid the fragments of the past and the present. Part 5. Rising tension, Cristiano's secret exposed. After long days immersed in anxiety and doubt, Serena Hayes once again decided to return to the secret room she had discovered before. In the dim darkness of Ronaldo's mansion, where secrets were hidden behind a veneer of extravagance, Serena walked with a mind full of fear and fragility. She opened the old wooden door she had found and stepped into the small space filled with papers, files, and documents, where it seemed that every scrap of paper contained an untold story. The faint light from the desk lamp softly illuminated the rows of documents, creating shimmering shadows on the wall, making the space even more eerie and mysterious. Serena gently flipped through each file until her eyes stopped on a medical file labeled Standard Record. Before her were pages printed with figures, reports, and doctors' diagnoses. The numbers and the cold lines of text carried a horrifying message. Cristiano Ronaldo was not only not paralyzed as everyone thought, but he had fully recovered a long time ago. The documents clearly stated that after an accident that was said to have left him disabled, Cristiano had undergone an exceptional treatment and recovery process. But instead of revealing the truth, the doctors decided to falsify the diagnosis, concealing all evidence of his recovery. The numbers, the timelines, and the medical reports all painted a picture completely contrary to the image of the man who always sat in a wheelchair with a feeble body and cold eyes. This medical story gradually revealed a great secret. Cristiano only pretended to be paralyzed to maintain an image of power and vulnerability in order to attract pity and sympathy from others. Serena felt as if her heart had stopped beating for a moment as she read through the tangled and contradictory lines on each sheet of paper. She could not believe her eyes. Could the cold husband she had been attached to, the man she once thought was a symbol of indomitable spirit despite his physical limitations, actually be someone who had silently regained all his abilities but deliberately hid the truth to profit from the pity of others? The chaotic thoughts rushed in, making her suddenly feel restless and afraid. She sensed a tremendous betrayal, not only from Cristiano, but also from those around who had conspired together to weave a web of deceit to hide that truth. Without hesitation, Serena decided that she had to confront Cristiano to find an explanation for this horrifying contradiction. After gathering all the files, she left the secret room, her heart full of uncertainty yet overflowing with determination. That night, in the cold atmosphere of the living room under the hazy yellow light, Serena called Cristiano over. The sun had set, leaving only the sound of the wind's sighs and the silence of the room as the two faced each other. Serena's eyes, now full of questions and fear, were fixed straight on Cristiano, who always appeared calm and resolute. With a trembling voice, yet trying to remain composed, Serena said, "Cristiano, I have found the medical files in the secret room. They show that you have fully recovered a long time ago, but you still pretend to be paralyzed. The doctors falsified the diagnosis, hiding this truth. Can you explain this to me?" Her words resonated softly yet decisively, like sharp knives cutting through the veneer of deceit. The atmosphere grew oppressively heavy. Cristiano, after a moment of silence, slowly bowed his head, his eyes gradually shifting from coldness to a thoughtful, meaningful look that Serena had never seen before. He sighed, as if the burden of secrets had weighed down his shoulders all this time. Finally, he lifted his head, and his voice, both warm and cold at the same time, resonated. Power is perception. Pity is the strongest weapon. Those words, brief yet profound, were like a secret revelation that had been kept for so long, making the atmosphere in the room even more heavy and tense. Serena felt as if her entire world collapsed at that moment. Cristiano's words not only shattered every hope she had once clung to, but also revealed a terrible truth. The man she had married was not only a cold businessman, but also a cunning manipulator, one who knew how to exploit the pity of others to consolidate his power. Every word, every action of Cristiano now seemed full of contradictions and terror, as if he had staged a play with a script written by sheer ruthlessness and unbridled ambition. In that moment of confrontation, Serena felt her heart as if it were about to shatter. She was shocked, panicked, and fell into a state of utter confusion. She had trusted, had hoped that the love and bond between them could bring her some comfort amid the cold atmosphere of this arranged marriage. But now, everything seemed like nothing more than a psychological game, where every emotion was manipulated to serve Cristiano's purposes. Serena felt like a pawn moved at the whim of others, forced to live within a framework from which she could never escape. Her emotions surged like a violent wave. Her eyes filled with tears, not only the tears of sorrow, but also of betrayal, of the loss of trust in the person she once loved. Every word, every number in the medical files was undeniable evidence of the deceit and manipulation that Cristiano had imposed on her life. She felt as though she had been struck at the very heart of a cruel scam, where promises and expressions of vulnerability were merely a cover for a truth as bitter as it was harsh. Cristiano stared at Serena, his eyes offering no justification, only a look of deep thought and coldness. It was as if he wanted to say that everything had been meticulously calculated, that his power did not depend on the truth, but on the way others perceived him. His words echoed in the space, making Serena feel as if all she had once believed had vanished like smoke. She wondered if she had ever truly lived in a genuine relationship, or if she had merely been a witness to a psychological game where every emotion was controlled and exploited. In that moment, with the atmosphere filled with tension and unease, Serena Hayes realized that she had married a manipulator, a man who knew how to use the pity of others as a weapon to consolidate his position. That realization cut deeply into her heart, leaving her confused and fearful for the future. She felt as if she were standing at a crossroads of fate, where every step would lead to unforeseen consequences. After that confession, the room fell into a suffocating silence, broken only by the rapid beating of Serena's heart and Cristiano's quiet composure. His words, "Power is perception, pity is the strongest weapon," continued to echo in her mind, like a dark prophecy about how people, especially those in power, always find a way to manipulate in order to maintain their status. That statement left Serena even more shocked and terrified, as she realized that she had been deceived not only physically, but also in her soul and in the true nature of Cristiano. In those moments, Serena Hayes felt herself melt away, as every fragment of her life seemed to suddenly shatter into tiny pieces that could never be reassembled into a complete picture. She stood there, silently confronting the terrible truth. She had bonded with a manipulator, a man whose previous actions and words were nothing more than a sophisticated performance. The feelings of betrayal and loneliness spread throughout her soul, leaving all hope of genuine love now nothing but scattered fragments in the darkness. Though in pain and confusion, Serena still tried to stand firm in the face of the truth. In Cristiano's eyes, she saw not only ruthlessness, but also a reminder that power does not come from weakness, but from the way people perceive and manipulate the emotions of others. She clearly sensed that from now on, nothing would ever be as she once thought. Every belief, every dream of true happiness had now been extinguished by a cruel and cold truth. With a shattered soul and tear-filled eyes, Serena Hayes quietly stepped out of the secret room, carrying the medical files, irrefutable evidence of Cristiano's deceit. She knew that from now on, everything had changed forever. Those sheets of paper not only exposed the secret of a man, but also opened a new, painful, and uncertain journey where Serena would have to confront the harsh truth about her husband, a manipulator who had used pity as a weapon to control everything. Deep within her, the shock and panic mingled with the determination to reclaim herself, even though she knew that the road ahead would never be easy, but at least she now knew the truth. In the gloomy space of Ronaldo's mansion, amidst secret meetings and glances full of hidden mysteries, Serena Hayes once again felt a stirring in her heart, a sensation both fearful and curious. While strolling through a seldom-used corridor, she unexpectedly stopped in front of an old photograph hanging on a faded wall. The photo showed Cristiano Ronaldo beside a strange woman, with flowing brown hair and deep, enigmatic eyes exuding a captivating mystery. The woman in the photo was identified as Evelyn Reyes. A shiver of dread spread through Serena, as if that photo were the missing piece revealing a secret she had never known. Unable to contain her curiosity, Serena decided to seek out Cristiano as soon as she had the opportunity. One quiet afternoon, when the sunset bathed the living room in golden light, she gently approached her husband, famous for his cold and reserved demeanor. With a soft yet anxious voice, she asked, "Cristiano, who is the woman in that photo? Why have I never heard you mention her?" Cristiano stared at Serena for several long, drawn-out seconds before finally sighing and replying, "Evelyn has been dead for a long time." Those words came out coldly, as if leaving no room for any debate, yet in Cristiano's eyes, Serena noticed a hint of obscurity, as if that answer were merely a carefully constructed lie. However, A few days later, when Serena's mood still had not been soothed by Cristiano's explanation, she received an anonymous letter delivered to her residence. The envelope was made of old paper, with no sender's name, only a faint stamp in the lower corner. With trembling hands, Serena opened the letter and was surprised to find inside not only a new photograph of Evelyn Reyes, but also a small sheet of paper with bold printed words, "The truth is closer than you think." The new photograph showed Evelyn with a radiant, vividly alive appearance, completely contradicting Cristiano's claim. Although the woman's eyes still concealed mysteries, her confidence and allure were evident, as if Evelyn had never intended to leave this life. Serena held the photo in her hands, her eyes not leaving a single minute detail on Evelyn's face. Each wrinkle, each glance served as a reminder that the truth Cristiano tried to hide was silently coming back to life. Within her, emotions mingled between confusion, doubt, and a sudden surge of belief. She clearly felt that someone wanted her to uncover the truth, yet at the same time, someone was silently trying to prevent her from discovering those dark secrets. Faced with that anonymous letter, Serena became restless and uneasy. She wondered who had sent the letter and what their purpose was. The message, "The truth is closer than you think," sounded both like an invitation and a warning, making her mind more muddled than ever. Serena decided that she had to delve deeper to clearly understand the connection between Cristiano and Evelyn Reyes, a connection that, until now, Cristiano had always either remained silent about or denied. In the nights that followed, Serena spent all her free time searching for clues related to Evelyn. She rummaged through documents, old photographs, and scraps of notes in the secret room she had once discovered. Every tiny piece of information gradually pieced together a complex picture of Cristiano's past. She began to realize that in every story and every vague word from the man she was bound to lay layers of secrets that were nearly impossible to decipher. There were fragments of memories long forgotten, faint clues about a relationship with a woman Cristiano had once loved. But now everything became more complicated when the new photograph of Evelyn emerged, vivid and full of life. As Serena passionately pursued the truth, the atmosphere in Ronaldo's mansion grew even tenser. Cristiano maintained his cold demeanor, showing no sign of change. Yet the glances exchanged between him and Vanessa Ronaldo, his sister, became colder than ever, as if the entire family were silently orchestrating a dangerous psychological game. Vanessa always regarded Serena with disdain, and now, as more secrets were gradually exposed, Vanessa appeared even more unyielding, as if she wanted to protect something precious that she would not allow anyone to touch. One evening, when the entire mansion was immersed in the silence of the late night, Serena sat by the window, her eyes vacant as she gazed outside. She wondered if she would ever be able to know all the truth behind the image that Cristiano had always hidden. The photo of Evelyn, the one she had just received, seemed like a mesmerizing invitation, opening a door to a world Serena had never dared to imagine. The message, "The truth is closer than you think," kept echoing in her mind, like an undeniable prophecy that no matter how carefully secrets are buried, they will eventually be exposed. These thoughts weighed heavily on Serena's heart, yet at the same time they ignited within her a flame of determination. She knew that, to understand the true nature of Cristiano, she had to embark on a journey to seek the truth, even if it meant facing terrible pain. Serena decided that despite the invisible warnings, she would never give up on uncovering the connection between Cristiano and Evelyn Reyes, even if the road ahead was fraught with danger and dark secrets. Every night, in the quiet of her private room, Serena would review the photograph of Evelyn and the anonymous letters over and over. She wondered who was behind these mysterious messages, who truly wanted her to discover the truth and what their ultimate purpose was. The mixed feelings of restlessness and excitement not only kept her awake, but also made her heart feel as if it were about to shatter from too many unanswered questions. She felt as though she was stepping into a labyrinth where every step took her deeper into a realm of secrets that perhaps no one should ever know. As Serena gradually ventured deeper into her quest, every clue she uncovered only deepened her doubts. She discovered that there were pieces of Cristiano's past that no one in the Ronaldo family wanted to mention, stories that had been hidden away, secrets that Cristiano had tried to cover up with a facade of pity and silence. Every time she looked at Evelyn's photograph, she felt a powerful resurgence of memories and emotions that she had long tried to bury. A pain, a betrayal, but also a fragile hope for the truth. The atmosphere in the mansion now seemed heavier than ever, with discreet gestures, unspoken glances between Cristiano, Vanessa, and other close associates. In that context, Serena felt like an outsider, an inadvertent witness to a dark story she never wished to face. But then, with every piece of paper and every image, she realized that someone had decided that the truth must be revealed, even if it might change everything. Serena Hayes stood before the photograph of Evelyn and the anonymous letter, her heart laden with unanswered questions. She knew that at that very moment someone was watching, someone wanted her to uncover the truth, but there were also those who wished to stop her. The message, "The truth is closer than you think," echoed like a murmur, reminding her that among the fragments of the past and present, the secret had not yet been fully exposed. And in that moment, Serena clearly felt that the journey to seek the truth had not only opened a new door, but also served as a warning that not all truths bring light. Sometimes they are the deep darkness into which she must venture to rediscover herself. Serena Hayes continuously followed every clue, every faint sign that led her to a secret house located far away in the suburbs of the city. After days of hesitation and worry, she realized that everything still held many things yet to be revealed. By day, she quietly collected every piece of information, and by night, in the cold darkness of a small room, Serena devoted her mind entirely to connecting the clues together. Finally, all those signs led her to a place she had never imagined, a dilapidated house hidden among dense rows of green trees, where no one knew that Evelyn Reyes was still alive. Serena stepped through the old wooden door, her heart restless and pounding wildly as she advanced into that secluded house. Inside, the space was filled with old items, faded paintings, and intricately woven carpets, as if preserving an entire bygone era. She sensed an atmosphere of solemnity, full of memories and untold stories. Then, right in the small living room, under the dim light, Serena encountered a woman, Evelyn Reyes, sitting silently by the window, her eyes filled with sorrow intermingled with profound understanding. Evelyn slowly turned her face, her eyes as if containing a lifetime of secrets and pain. Without saying a word immediately, she only looked at Serena silently, as if she had been waiting for this moment for a long time. The air in the room seemed to freeze, leaving only the soft sound of the wind's breath and the beating of Serena's heart. Finally, Evelyn gently spoke, her warm yet melancholy voice saying, "Serena, have you arrived?" That question echoed softly, like an invitation to explore the secrets she had carried throughout her life. Serena, though her heart was in turmoil, boldly replied, "I know that many things have not been told. I know that Cristiano orchestrated everything to hide the truth. So, Evelyn, what exactly did he force you to fake your death for? To protect his dark secret?" Those words fell like fragments of the truth into the still space. Evelyn took a long breath, her eyes gradually becoming sad and tired, then gently began to recount. "That's right. I was once the one Cristiano loved, but I was also the one he considered a burden if my truth were ever revealed. I was forced to fake my death, to vanish from this life, in order to protect the secrets that he never wanted anyone to know. Those dark secrets were not only about the fact that he was not really paralyzed, but also about how he manipulated the entire family and assets, building a kingdom based on deception and counterfeit power." Evelyn's words thundered like a clap of lightning in a gloomy sky. Serena listened in silence, her heart as if bound by the chains of pain and betrayal. Evelyn continued, her voice deep and laden with sorrow. "Cristiano does not love anyone, Serena. He only protects what belongs to him. Every action, every word from him is solely aimed at maintaining the image of a weak, pitiable man, so that he can manipulate everything around him. The family, the assets, even the fate of those around him, all are within his grasp, but there is no room for genuine love." Those words struck Serena like a shock. She felt the horrifying truth in every word, every sentence of Evelyn's account. She understood that in Cristiano's eyes, emotions no longer held value, but were merely tools to maintain power. His intricate manipulation did not stop at the facade of feigned disability, but also spread deeply into every relationship within the family, every life that he controlled. In that moment, Serena felt her heart shatter, the fragments of her trust gradually breaking apart with each bitter word. Evelyn gently bowed her head, her hands trembling as she continued. "I once tried to resist, but under Cristiano's power and influence, I had no choice but to fake my death. He needed me to vanish so that no one would suspect that he had truly lost his ability to move. And from there, he built everything based on pity, on the way others looked at an injured person, making himself more susceptible to manipulation. Those words cut through Serena's soul like sharp blades, leaving her unable to hide the deep pain and profound betrayal. Serena looked into Evelyn's eyes, which held both fear, remorse, and also a deep appreciation for the memories of the past. She sensed that Evelyn was not only a victim of Cristiano, but also the keeper of the key to the truth behind it all. In that moment, all the fragments of the past suddenly pieced together into a comprehensive picture. Cristiano not only pretended to be paralyzed, but he meticulously orchestrated everything, manipulating both his family and assets to consolidate his power. There was no room for love, no room for sincerity, only power and control. Evelyn looked deeply into Serena's eyes, her voice gradually becoming firm. "Serena, you must understand that he does not love anyone. He only protects what belongs to him. True love to him is nothing more than an empty concept, something he never allows to emerge. If you want to find happiness, never let yourself get entangled in his web." Those words served as a final warning, a reminder that the truth which Serena had long harbored was now too clear and painful to deny. In that moment, Serena Hayes felt a powerful shift within her mind. Everything she once believed in love, in attachment, in her connection with Cristiano was now shrouded by layers of deceit and manipulation. She understood that she had been living in a world where every emotion was merely a carefully orchestrated detail, where power was maintained at all costs, regardless of the pain inflicted on others. The truth about Evelyn, now revealed through her moving testimony, left Serena with no hesitation. She had to leave Cristiano immediately. A surge of determination ignited within Serena. She looked at Evelyn with eyes full of empathy and gratitude, one who had bravely shared a truth that perhaps no one else dared to reveal. Evelyn's words echoed in her mind. "He does not love anyone, Serena. He only protects what belongs to him." That sentence rang like a wake-up call, making her realize that if she continued to stay with Cristiano, she would forever be imprisoned in the grip of a manipulator, caught in a power game with no escape. In that decisive moment, Serena Hayes felt her heart freed from the chains of pain and betrayal. She knew that, although the road ahead would be filled with difficulties and inevitable losses, only truth and courage could help her reclaim her freedom. With determined eyes, Serena promised herself that she would never return to that dark past. She would leave Cristiano, leave the relationship built on deception and manipulation, to seek a genuine life, a life where love and sincerity were no longer distant. Before Evelyn's thoughtful gaze, Serena gently bowed her head, as if accepting the harsh truth that had just been revealed. She felt every beat of her heart, every tear silently streaming down her cheek, like a farewell to the past. In her mind, the image of Cristiano was now nothing more than that of a cold man, one who knew how to manipulate and exploit pity to maintain power, leaving no room for love or sincerity. And from that moment on, Serena Hayes understood that the path to her happiness did not lie with Cristiano. She had to leave him, find an escape for herself, even if it meant facing unavoidable hardships and losses. The truth about Evelyn not only opened a new chapter in her story, but also served as a reminder that in life, true love is only valuable when it comes from sincerity, not from schemes and manipulation. In the darkness of that secret house, Serena Hayes slowly stood up, her heart filled with determination and her eyes shining with a new ray of hope. She knew that, although the future might be hazy and fraught with challenges, at least she had lived with the truth, a truth that could never be buried forever. And in that moment, amid the quiet atmosphere of the old house, Serena decided that she would step away from the past, towards a future of freedom and promise, where the pain of betrayal and manipulation would no longer hold her heart captive. After countless days of enduring pain, Serena Hayes decided to confront Cristiano decisively. In the gentle sunset of Ronaldo's mansion, Serena walked into the living room where Cristiano usually sat in silence, his face as cold as a statue. Her heart pounded erratically, yet her determined gaze still radiated the strength of a woman who had suffered too many losses. Serena stood before Cristiano, her trembling yet resolute voice resounding, "I will leave you. I will not let my child grow up in deception." That declaration sounded like an alarm bell in the silence. Cristiano, after a moment of slowly staring at Serena, did not object. Instead, He simply uttered a cold remark that suddenly made the atmosphere even more oppressive. "You may leave, but you will never escape from me." Those words echoed like a chilling curse, making Serena feel as if her heart were shattering. She realized that even if she left, Cristiano's shadow would haunt every moment, like a scar that would never fade. The sensation of being trapped in the net of the past and manipulation filled her with even more fear. Without hesitation, Serena turned her back and walked out of the living room, stepping forward with heavy yet determined strides. In the vast corridor of the mansion, her footsteps rang out like a declaration of newfound freedom, though the outward appearance of extravagance still could not conceal the coldness, deceit, and pain deeply imprinted in the past. When she left Ronaldo's mansion, the outdoor atmosphere greeted her with the bone-chilling cold of the dark night. Although the light from the street lamps gradually dimmed, inside Serena remained full of anxiety, wondering if she had truly escaped Cristiano's shadow, or was merely running from memories that would never fade. Every step she took away from the mansion was like a promise, a commitment that, no matter how much pain and challenge lay ahead, she would seek a complete life for herself, a life where love and sincerity would not be concealed by schemes and deceit. On the road leading out of the mansion, Serena did not look back, even though Cristiano's cold curse still echoed in her mind. She knew that, although the wounds of the past might never fully heal, only by daring to step out of the darkness could she find herself again. With every step, she sensed a tentative freedom, a gentle glimmer of hope emerging amid the gloomy night. In that moment, Serena Hayes decided that from now on, she would live for herself. Though the road ahead might be fraught with difficulties, she would no longer accept being bound by a deceitful past. She would not let her child suffer from deception, nor allow Cristiano's words, "You may leave, but you will never escape from me," to dictate her life. Serena moved forward, carrying in her heart both pain and the belief in a new beginning. Every footstep echoing on the deserted road was like a song of liberation, of a brave woman determined to leave the past behind to rediscover herself. And although the darkness of the night still remained, the light of freedom and hope gradually shone through, gently illuminating the path Serena chose to walk, leading her to a future of freedom, where love and sincerity would no longer be hidden by deceitful words. After countless days of battling dark secrets and unyielding pain, Serena Hayes finally escaped from Cristiano's cold grasp. She left Ronaldo's mansion in the silent gloom of early morning, carrying with her all her sorrows, unhealed wounds, and the fragile hope of a new beginning. Although she had left, a sense of unease clung to her like a dark shadow, never allowing her to feel truly free. As time passed, Serena began to build her own life, slowly trying to reclaim the fragments of her soul. Every day, she watched the morning light glimmer through the small window of her apartment as she woke up. Yet inside her there remained a persistent haunting. The figure of Cristiano still lingered in the bitter memories of the past. Even though she had left, the image of the manipulative man and his chilling curses continued to echo, rendering her dreams of happiness so exceedingly fragile. One day, as the golden sunset bathed the sky, Serena received an anonymous letter. The old envelope bore no sender's name, only a faint imprint in the corner. Her heart tightened as her trembling hands opened the letter and unfolded each small sheet of paper inside. On the paper was written a simple line, yet it was enough to shake her soul. "We will meet again soon." Those words, though brief, carried the weight of a promise and a threat. Each word, each space between the letters seemed to hold countless beliefs, fears, and secrets yet to be unraveled. In that moment, Serena felt her heart nearly shatter, for she knew that the battle was not only about leaving Cristiano behind, it was merely the beginning of an endless confrontation, where the past and the present would forever intertwine in unforeseen ways. After that anonymous letter, Serena's long nights grew even more tangled. She sat by the window of her apartment, her eyes gazing thoughtfully outward at the city lights twinkling in the night. Yet inside her she could not shake off the sense of dread. Her hand clenched her stomach, as if to feel the presence of the child, the new happiness she had carried with her after those painful events. Yet beside that happiness, fear still intertwined with every thought. Would the dark memories, the curses of Cristiano forever lurk nearby, preventing her from forgetting the past? In the days that followed, Serena repeatedly questioned the origin of the letter. Who sent it? And what did the message, "We will meet again soon," mean? She sought clues, inquiring quietly through conversations with old friends and even through indirect bits of information from acquaintances within the Ronaldo family. Every clue only deepened her uncertainty and anxiety. The atmosphere around her grew stifling with the feeling that even though she had left, the past would never allow her to extinguish its flame completely. In Serena's mind, Cristiano's figure seemed to appear in every corner of memory, from his cold voice during their confrontation to the curses he softly murmured. "You may leave, but you will never escape from me." Those words continued to echo in her mind like the reverberations of a past that could never be erased. Every time she closed her eyes, Cristiano's image reappeared, his counterfeit smile intermingled with calculating eyes, making her belief in a bright future grow ever more fragile. Serena Hayes began to realize that in her new life, she was no longer simply the woman who had left Cristiano. She had become a warrior, one who had to struggle with unhealed wounds and the curses of the past. Every night, as she sat quietly by the window with heavy eyes yet still holding onto a glimmer of hope, she told herself that although those pains might remain deeply etched, she would not allow them to dictate her future. She wished to provide her child with a life free from the entanglements of the schemes and deceptions that Cristiano had orchestrated. Serena's story did not end there. When the anonymous letter arrived, she knew it was only the first sign of a new confrontation, a battle of the soul that perhaps she was not yet ready to face. But deep down, she also recognized that only by confronting the past, by letting go of the torments and fears, could she find a way out for herself. With every gust of wind through the window, with every faint light of dawn, Serena became more determined that, despite the haunting specters of the past, she would not let them hinder her progress. Every step Serena took on the long road back to her new life carried both hope and unhealed wounds. She did not know whether, in the future, Cristiano's figure and his secrets would ever truly leave her. But at least she had dared to walk forward, to confront the pain and accept that the true battle had only just begun. In the dim light of dawn, as she stood by the window, her hands still clenched on her stomach like a vow, Serena Hayes knew that, no matter how many challenges lay ahead, she would be free to rediscover herself and give her child a genuine life, one not hidden behind the layers of deception. The story seemed to have no conclusion, as the anonymous messages continued to echo, a reminder that even if she might leave, the past would always follow. In that moment, as Serena gazed out the window, her eyes saw not only the vast sky, but also the hazy clouds of old memories. Memories that caused her pain, yet testified to a time gone by. She clenched her hand around the hope of a new life and told herself that, although the battle was not over, she would never look back. "We will meet again soon." Those simple words were not only a warning, but also a promise of a future that she would write for herself, unbound by the dark memories of the past. And with every step she took, Serena Hayes knew that the true battle had only just begun.